So anyway, my name's Mikey J, and I love you all for coming out. Bruce, thank you for coming out. And, tell your daughter we wish she could have made it, but I'm sure she's busy. Anyways, I live in Santa Cruz, and I have a think tank called the Youth Federation. It was inspired by Albert Einstein, by a lot of critical thinkers, meaning World Federation, that we're human beings on this planet Earth, one human being on one Earth. And the shirt I wear tonight is 2012, Time for Change. And this is a new documentary out called 2012, Time for Change, and I got to see it, and I highly recommend, because it's talking about the Mayans, and it has a whole theme. 2012, Time for Change. You can contact me to see it, or look for it. It's traveling around. My theme tonight in this speech is 2012 is the time for change. And this is way beyond legalization, but this is about letting this planet, it's about letting hemp save the planet. So this is about, of course, Jack Hare. And Brenda, who's here, she actually took this shot. So now the focus on our buddy Jack Hare, who some of us knew quite a bit, maybe some of us didn't, and that's Captain Ed. So these are the two real pioneers of the whole cannabis hemp movement, Captain Ed and Jack Hare. And Los Angeles, of course, is ground zero for the war on cannabis and for the legalization. The whole cannabis movement started right here, in Venice Beach, in Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley, and in the Grateful Dead parking lot by these two guys, Bruce Margolin and a host of others. Let's focus on this Jack Hare and Captain Ed, who aren't with us. And backtracking, let's also focus just for a second on the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who we just honored a few days ago. And this, I have not obviously prepared a speech, but we're honoring a great leader tonight, and we're honoring the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. a few days ago. And there's a big tie-in that our men here, and Bruce Margolin included, are major movers and shakers of our generation. Bruce Margolin is the top attorney for cannabis and has defended over 20,000 cases of cannabis. If you haven't read about him in the LA Weekly, he made in October, the front page. So we have major movers and shakers, and we have to be the change, as it said, in the world. I want to pass around posters. So, now cutting to the chase. Tonight's the kickoff of this California Cannabis Hemp Health Initiative 2012. And I want to thank each and every one of you all for coming out tonight. You guys came from San Diego. People came from San Diego, and that's amazing. When we all drive away, and May Lynn out there, she came from Riverside. When we all drive away tonight, there's just one thing is quantum leap to leave you all, that we are the quantum leap tonight here. We are launching this 2012 initiative, and like Bruce had said, we want the whole movement to back Jack Hare's initiative. There's nothing wrong with it. It might need a few changes. People want the age limit to drop or this or that, but it's mostly, as they say, good to go. And the main thrust tonight is, okay, what the heck is this initiative about? So I'm going to have 2 points. What this initiative is about, and then what the heck we can do tonight here about what it's about. And then I would introduce Sarah Newton, ladies first, and then Richard Davis. But Jack Hare's initiative is the political manifesto of his book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes. This is Jack's lifeblood that he worked tirelessly for 30 years to put on the ballot. So you here tonight, we are inheriting, this is Jack's inheritance to us all. This initiative, it does a bunch of things, and also Eddie Lepp had something to do with this initiative. Chris Conrad, special request to him, if this is being videoed at all, and Mickey Norris. Chris Conrad helped write this initiative. Bruce Margolin helped write this initiative. But the initiative is here. We have flyers, and we want you all, the 100th monkeys, the quantum leapers, to make sure you have these copies. The initiative virtually does simply 3 things. It legalizes cannabis just like wine here in California. So that means think wine bars. Think that all across California we're going to have a new industry of vapor lounges, hash bars, cannabis bars, hip-hop cannabis, reggae bars. It legalizes cannabis just like wine for 21 years and over, and that's the easiest thing for us on the street when we're out actually gathering the signatures to explain to people when they ask. This is for 21 and over to legalize it just like wine. Now sure, theoretically, I think 18-year-olds should not be prosecuted, and our initiative doesn't harm anyone under 21 for smoking. So our initiative re-legalizes cannabis, Jack's initiative, your initiative, just like wine. So that is something to plant that seed. We're planting seeds tonight, y'all, because it's the full moon coming up in a few days. And so this is seed planting time. It legalizes cannabis like wine. It gets everyone out of jail, like Bruce had said earlier. This initiative will free up to 20,000 people in jail here in California.
That's huge. That's big. It's incredible. Where's the thought for the little group of people from this perspective?
And then the third thing, and these are in no order, and this is just my own created 3 things, but the third and actually the most important thing is back to that theme about planetary democracy and we're on one planet. The third and most really in some ways important thing is that this initiative re-legalized cannabis hemp here in California for industrial use. So that it means that in 2013, farmers throughout California, up and down the state, can grow the best strains for paper, the best strains for fiber, the best strains for fuel, the best strains for... And Richard Davis is going to get into the hemp thing. So if there's one message tonight is that, of course you all out there are the 100th monkey, and you're the quantum leap tonight. Because we're launching this. We're not doing this. We want everyone to be involved, but we don't need to reinvent the wheel. And Bruce Margolin was correct, because I'm actually going to get to speak up at the normal conference the weekend after next. So 3 things: it re-legalizes cannabis like wine. It gets each and every one person out of jail, and all your cannabis offenses are cleared off your record. And then most importantly, it frees this plant. And that's what this is about. It isn't about tax and regulation and trying to make this an extremely conservative way for the capitalistic system to try to capitalize on this. This is about saving the plant with hemp. Jack Herer, the Hemp Initiative. This is the political manifesto of Jack Herer's book. Richard Davis is going to talk about hemp. This is the $1 trillion economy. Okay. So that's it. Now I'm just going to have the final section. That was kind of virtually what the initiative is. It's about creating a $1 trillion economy, getting everyone out of jail, re-legalizing it just like wine. So if you're 21 and over, there's going to be wine bars all across California. That's why Hash Bar TV over there on Venice Beach is 100% behind California Hemp Initiative 2012 too. Sean Cush. Hash Bar TV is like the biggest media in the cannabis world. They're full page ads. So look for Hash Bar TV and you'll see the 2012 initiative on it. So now what can we do? Well, Jack Herer, the world's hemp authority, had his person, an old friend of his named Buddy Doozy, who physically couldn't be here with us tonight, but he's in Simi Valley. Buddy, big up to you. Buddy Doozy's Jack Herer's, longtime friend for 30 years, and Jack Herer had Buddy Doozy set up a ballot recipient committee, a 501c4. So we have a 501c4, and it's called the California Hemp Initiative. There's no date because this was back in 2008 and 2009 and 10. We have a ballot recipient committee called the California Hemp Initiative, and on my website, which is Youth Federation, and again that means world democracy. A lot of people don't understand. And we have 3 websites, but my website for the moment is the only one that has the PayPal. The PayPal button is up right now on youthfederation.com. And this is Jack Herer's organization. It's the PayPal button that I speak of. Youth Federation is nothing more than an idea. We're not funded. It's all grassroots. And I want you all to see the posters I have in here to show you, give you an idea of the art. Where I live in Santa Cruz, we're doing this artistically. We've been putting this out, up in the Northern California at the festivals. So what now we actually need to do literally is two things. Raise the $1 million to finance this initiative. And on that note, earlier I did want to send a shout out to someone named Richard Lee. Richard Lee showed the whole planet that one person can fund an initiative, and he kicked ass. I personally didn't, care for the language, but that gentleman, because I, was friends with him, I haven't seen him in a long time, he kicked ass. And of course he's from Texas, as Sarah Newton is too. But that Richard Lee kicked ass, that campaign kicked ass, they lost. But Richard Lee proved that you can raise the money and put it on the ballot, and that's just one man, Richard Lee. Well, here we are tonight. We need to raise $1 million because none of us, unfortunately, are millionaires. But we have, any of us tonight can get $5, $10, $20. We're going to have a physical address to send it as well, but we have the PayPal button up. And if 1,000 of us, if 500 people, just to give you some quick numbers before introducing Sarah, if 500 people out there got raised, if we went to 500 cannabis clubs and raised $1,000, we went to all these clubs, every single one in Los Angeles, every single one in San Diego, where I live up in the Bay Area. If 500 clubs or 500 individuals gave $1,000, that's $500,000. So these are the numbers, the quantum leap kind of type of stuff is that, we physically have to literally be like Richard Lee. We have to raise the money, and we can do this. This initiative, I personally believe, can pass. So we have to A, raise the money, and B, make sure, as the Army said, that this initiative can be all it can be, that it's the best initiative. The initiative, I would say, is 95, 96, 78% ready to go, good to go, as they say in Jamaica. But good to go. But that we can transform, evolve, change any of the wording, add whatever we need, and we have that time. But what we don't have time for, y'all, is to raise the money. So we have to raise the $1 million. And that's really what it boils down to. The professional signature gatherers, the same folks that got Prop 19 on the ballot, are not literally, but they're dying to get Jack's initiative on the ballot. So, once again, I really thank all of you, and I honestly mean that. I live up in Santa Cruz, and I stayed here for a whole week for this. People from San Diego coming up, and they have to be at a meeting at 9 in the morning. Sarah Newton and Paul coming up, Bruce Margolin, of course, Richard, Davis, Brenda. You all, every single one of you, we can be the change. We are the 100th monkey. 2012 is, of course, potentially the time where we all enact some major change, or it might happen without us. Well, now I want to, there's going to be two speakers. We have Sarah Newton, who I became friends with on Facebook and have seen her, through the high times. And this is a dynamite young lady. She represents where the movement needs to go from Texas, top honors in her going to college, and she's out here in Los Angeles. She has been. She was the first in Miss High Times. And the Miss High Times girls are getting really active supporting 2012. So watch out for Miss High Times. And I want to introduce this Sarah Newton. Her and I are like, I'm about 20 years, literally to the day, older than this young lady, because we have the same, her birthday's April 2nd, mine's April 1st. This is a bright and young woman who is totally 100% behind our initiative, and she's already been helping. So I thank you all. I think I made my point. We make sure you take all the flyers and the copies of the initiative. And please, I went to great lengths to get that to you all.